All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Cody, part of the Permit Application Center team here with Fairfax County. Today, we are going to do a live demonstration for a new residential permit in our new Plus system. We will have pauses to ask questions. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will answer those as they come in and as we get to a stopping point. So to start off, this will be the beginning page. If you're a brand new user, you can register for your account right here. If you already have an existing account, there will be an email that will be sent out to Monday with detailed instructions on how to register your account to make sure all of your existing permits will transfer over to the new Plus system. So you will start by logging in. This is the new dashboard that shows up here. You have different options. You can select different types of permits or records that you can select from here. You have your dashboard, you have records. If you need to make changes to anything, your email address, anything like that, you can do that in my account. You can do some additional searches and things like that here as well. A couple of things that are new here is you can save multiple projects in a cart here, and you can check out all at once. You don't have to do it each individually. You can add those up and continue going and do it all at one time. Another thing that's helpful is my collections now. So with my collections, you can put different things together. Excuse me. You can put different things together. So if you have electrical permit, plumbing permit, mechanical permit that goes along with your new residential, you can put those all in your collection here. So you can view all of those permits at one time. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start applying. So we're going to click on the building tab. And you're going to click on create an application. So this is very similar to what was in Fido and Project Docs, the same disclaimer that was in Project Docs and Fido. Just click I've read and accepted the terms, and you'll continue the application. Now here we have different permit types that you can select. When you select the drop down, it'll give you different options. There are some new options that weren't there before, but you will select the one that you want. We have commercial, residential, we have administrative things, we have licenses for HIC licenses, and then elevators as well. So for this demonstration, we'll be selecting residential new. Hit continue. So this is going to bring you to the location and peoples tab. This is where you're going to start off by putting in your address. If you don't have an address yet for new single family dwellings, I know sometimes there's a case where the address hasn't been approved. You don't have to use the government center address that we used to do. Now you can go down to this location details tab and you can put in the address that it's going to be. You will fill out the owner information here and you can move forward with the application. So that was a big change for Plus. For this demonstration, I'm going to use address. Click search. All you have to do is type in the street number. You don't even have to type in the full street name. You can start typing it in and click search. It will locate information based on the search that it found here. It will automatically load in parcel number, parcel ID number, things that you cannot change. It located that, and so it's not something that you can change. If there is owner information already, it will load all of that in for you as well. with the property owner information tab, it's going to ask you if you are the property owner. You can select yes or no depending on what you select on some of these options. Other things will go away. For this, we're going to say no, and then is the displayed information accurate based on what it pre-populated off of the search. Are there any questions prior to moving on past that point?
Cody, it looks like there's a couple questions in the chat.
Okay.
One about creating collections, if they can have projects from different tabs, so building and site together.
Steve, do you know the answer to that? I don't know the answer to that right now, but I will get that answer before we're done here and let you know.
And then, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm seeing them now. So yes, if you don't know the address, you can put in the parcel ID number and the tax map number, and it will load that for you as well. So then we will get to the location and people details, contact information. So here, when you start off, you're going to select add new, and this is who's applying for the permit. And I'm going to select mine from the account because I've already saved it. Once you put it in once, if you're the same applicant, it will continue, it'll save in there and you can select it with your mailing address. On-site contact, this is important for inspections. It's going to be who wants to be contacted for the inspections. So you can add new or select from the account again. If you need to add a mechanics lien agent, you'll do that right here. Same thing. If you put it in once, you can select it from your account. You'll also be able to add a new one. So owner's contractor section here, will you be acting as your own contractor? Yes or no? Again, this is another one that depending on what you select, different options will be available to you or will not be available to you depending on what you select here. So for now, we're going to say no. Another option is, will a contractor be selected later? You can answer yes to this and continue moving forward without having a contractor being added right now. For these purposes, we're going to go ahead and say no. We'll move over to the application details screen. So this screen, you can put in your project name, whatever it is that you want to do. Put in your project description, just like you've always done, and same as the FIDO description, you will put. And fill out your description as you normally would. When you get down to the project details, this is a screen that's going to be a little bit different from what you're used to. So you can select new building type, and it's going to have different options you can select. Depending on what you select here, there could be a couple of different things that pop up. So it's going to give you different options for townhouses. New single family is new single family. That's the only option there. If you click detached structures, there's going to be a couple of other things that pop up here. What exactly it is that you're doing. So that'll be a change as well, different options there as well. For this, we're going to do new single family. It's going to ask you here if there's a parent permit, which is where you would select yes. If you're doing your trade permits underneath of these, you can select yes there and you'll be able to link those together. Same with the master file. If it's master file, you'll be able to link those together as well. One of the big changes here as well is this one, a site-related plan. You can answer yes to this. You will no longer have to upload the grading plan separately. You have an option here to where we can link the grading plan with this building permit, and you do not have to upload that separately in your. Ask if you have a damage report that's associated with this, and if it's part of the peer review program. Answer yes or no to that. If you answer yes to this, it will bring up an option at the end. It will tell you that you need to upload that stuff. So, and your estimated cost of the project. Any other questions so far that Steve hasn't answered yet?
There's a question about whether the town of Vienna's grading plans will be synced.
Steve will grab that one too, I believe. And I see one here from Kim as well. Kim, if you don't have the contact info for inspections at the time of submission, you can update that later. That it is going for new single family dwelling. It is going to require. Oh, there you go. He answered that. So this is where we'll move on to adding your site related record. So here's where if you answered yes to the site related, if you answered yes to a master file, that's where you will be able to link these files together. So you'll click add a row, you'll type in the plan number, record number. This one right here, so if you see that, it takes it a second to register. You want to make sure that you wait for that to validate. If it doesn't validate and you continue to move forward, if this right here doesn't show as validated yes, it will not let you upload plans into the digital planner. So you got to make sure that you entered that number correctly, and to verify that you entered that number correctly, it will show up right here as validated yes or no. This is where you will look up your information for your contractor. This is going to be different as well. This will be different than, there's no longer a FIDO contractor ID number. So when you are going in to add the contractor from now on, you will need two things. You will need both their contractor's license number, the Virginia State Contractor's License Number issued by DPOR. You will also need, if applicable, you will need the Fairfax County business license number. You need both of those, and you'll have to type those in. Once you type them in once again, it generally will save the information. Select one. Tell you it's added successfully. You'll do the same thing for the business license. Type that in. Now it's going to automatically pop up down here. This is a field you cannot change. So it's going to automatically pop up down here and let you know if this is active or inactive. As long as it's active, you're good to move forward. Another good thing is if you click continue and this is not the proper contractor listed, if you have the wrong license type or the wrong specialty, or if your class is too low for the job that you're doing, it will pop up with an error up here and it will tell you you can't use this contractor. Please update a new contractor. So this is your review screen. You can go down and review all of the information that you have put in so far. If you need to make any changes, you can click the edit buttons on each of these categories and you can go in and make any changes that you need. You can just go through and verify everything is accurate. If it's not, you can change it right there before you continue. Taking just a second here to load. All right, so at this point, it's going to pop up. It tells you thank you for your submission. It's going to give you your record number. This is also where you are going to upload your plans and documents as needed. So you will click upload plans. This is going to take you to our digital plan room, where it's going to tell you right over here on the right hand side, this is the minimum submission requirements for this permit type as of right now. This is what you need to submit to get this permit going. Is good, that not to say that that's the only thing that's going to be needed, but these are the minimum things that you will need to upload to move this project forward to get it in. When you click continue, this is where you're going to add your files. This is one of the biggest changes that we've made here. Once you do get to this, you can either browse and find your files, or you can just drag them. So I'm going to drag mine over. I'm going to drop it in. It's going to ask you what the document type is, and select from this drop down. So this one is my plans. So I'm going to select plans. So I know now that I also need to upload the plan cover sheet prior to submitting. I'll go ahead and add that. I'm going to put plan cover sheet. I'm going to upload and validate. So this is going to work on validating your files and making sure that they're not corrupt. There's no issues. Once it shows as validated here, you will click process files. This screen is going to pop up and it's going to let you know how long it's taking. It doesn't tell you time, but it gives you a little bar there to update you on the processing the files. Now, this step is going to take a little bit longer than what maybe you're used to. The reason for that is because Plus is doing a couple of different things right now. So if you notice, when I drug the file for the plans, I only took one PDF file. So no longer are you required to break up each one of your files individually. You will be able to upload a PDF set of however many drawings you have in that PDF set. You can just move that one file in there and upload it all at one time. The second thing that it's doing right now is naming conventions are no longer going to be an issue. So what Plus is also doing now is it's looking at the bottom right-hand corner of your plan set, and it is going to pull out the sheet number, and it is going to name those sheets with each sheet number that it can find in the bottom right-hand corner of those plans. So you will see that it is now all processed. You hit continue, you can look at it and you can see that it was able to pull the sheet number. On some occasions, it's even able to pull the name of the drawing. It does it for each one as long as it can find it. It's looking down here. If it can find that, locate it, it's going to name the sheet whatever you have listed down there. From there, you can continue. This, once again, it's just going to look at over everything that you just submitted. Looking at the requirements, have you submitted everything that was required for the minimum submission requirement? 2 check marks means you're good to go. The file's processed. And click finish. It'll pop up here and tell you success. Your review package has been received. That means it has been sent in to us for review. Before we go on to the next step, are there any other questions? So the digital signature will still be required if the plans are signed and sealed. The digital protected signatures will still be required. Correct. The cover sheet is the current cover sheet that we have. So the cover sheet will have to be uploaded separately. It will not recognize that it is part of that PDF package. When you are doing that submittal of the required fields, it will need to be uploaded separately. All right. So once we complete that stage and it's been sent in for what used to be our pre-screen review, it's now called an application submittal. You can go in here, you can look at your summary. You can see where it's at. It's been submitted. You can see that it's pending with these. If there are if it sends it back to you for corrections, with what used to be the pre-screen corrections task, it's now waiting for information at application submittal task. I'm going to pull that record up here and show you what that looks like. Also, while we're doing that, you can see here that if you go to building, you can see all of your records that you have pending. You can also see that over to the right-hand side, there are different things, different options to select depending on where that is in the review process. There are different options that you can select. So this one right here says waiting for information. That means when it went through our application submittal or pre-screen, we needed more information. So you can just simply click this upload plans button right next to it, and it will take you right to it. You will go over to uploads, and you can do one of two things. You can hover over this right here. It will tell you what that fail comment was. You can also click resume. And then there are no requirements for this one because the system said they already uploaded that, so you will just respond with whatever it is that it was asked for. It also pops up at the top with a notice, and it gives you the comment there as well. Submitted plans are missing the code year, so you'll need to resubmit those plans with the code year and or project address to move forward. You will still get an email notification. The good thing is that the email notification that you get now, it tells you exactly what it is that you need. So it does not just a generic comment that says your pre-screen failed or your application submittal is waiting for information. It does tell you what the comment was right from the email. So screenshot here of that email looks like. Will pop up here and say it's being returned. Here's the comment right here. It pops up and tells you right in that email what it is. So one thing, as you'll notice also, so far to this point, there has not been a request for a payment. And that's another process change that we have. You will no longer pay your fees up front. It will come in through application submittal prior to paying your fee. At the first stage, you will only be able to pay your filing fee. You will not have the option to pay for the full fee at the application submittal. So you will get the next one that we'll look at here is at waiting for payment status. So you'll have that option, but you don't pay for it prior to submitting your documents. We will talk about building reviewer comments and how to address those as well. Go back up here to the waiting for payment option. Just this one. So once again, you can see here, you can click on this and you can go straight into the record, or if you receive the email that says you just need to pay the fees, you will get an email for that as well that says your fees are ready to be paid. You can just come right over to that permit number in your record and you can just click pay my fees. It's going to pop up with what your filing fees are. Click checkout. You can also continue shopping. So if you have multiple different permits you want to pay for at once, you can add all of them at this time and pay for it all at one time. Hit checkout. And this should take you to the same fee system that we've been using. You should be pretty used to this one. So there's not a separate link to send clients for payment, but clients no longer, they don't have to be signed in. Unlike Fido, you had to be signed in. Um, you can go in and pay the fees without being signed in to Plus. So all they have to do, I will show it here in just a second, is just go search for the record number. And there will be an option for them to pay those fees right from the search. as well as if you have a client that doesn't necessarily want to be included, like in project docs, in order for them to see anything to do with the record, where it was, uh, what discipline had it, if it was at building or site, you had to request access for them. Um, you had to request access through project docs for them to be able to see that. And plus, they don't need that access. They just want to see things. They want to see things. They can go search the record. They can see where it's at. They can look at the different disciplines that have reviewed it. They can see if it's been passed or failed. They can see that without being actually on plus and part of the permit of the record itself. Any other questions before we move on? So once you've made the waiting for information corrections, the old pre-screen corrections, you will get the task back to pay for it. Once you do that, it will be sent back in and it will be sent to the various departments for review. Now we'll go ahead and move into checking on reviewers' comments and responding to those as well. So I have one right here that says upload plans. So I can click on upload plans. Now you're going to see that this is review cycle number 2. And I can resume and also click over here on issues. And it's going to tell you the issue that you have 2 issues here. They're both showing as open. Tells you what page number they're attached to. You'll also need to check there could be notes in here for exactly what. Now notes do not require an action necessarily, issues do. You'll click on issues. If you click on the open, it'll pop up. You can click on, if it's a change mark, you can click on this and it'll zoom and right to where they made the issue, created an issue for you. Is that better? So they will have your issues listed here for you. It'll tell you exactly what it is. Before you are able to move on, you will need to enter a response for each issue that is listed. Type it in, save it. So it shows now once you go back out that that one has been answered. Do the same thing for the second one. You click open. Like that, it'll zoom in to right where the issue is. You can read the note, bond, save. Also, if you're in here and you don't want to go back each time, you can just click all issues and it will pop up and it tells you all of your issues. Do the same notes. You can look at notes to see. So Mariah, are you asking how the architect would have access to respond to these? If that's what you're asking, they would have, you would have to request that the architect have access to Plus in order to be able to do it. Or if you're a permit runner, that you can submit it for them if they give you the comments, you can put the comment in there. But they would have to have access to this Plus account in order to, uh, no response letters are needed. Well, I'm not sure about. Is Nick on the call? Is Nick able to answer that? Response letters are not required. So once you've addressed the issues and you've responded to them, you would click on uploads. Right here, where you have review plan cycle number 2. You can click resume. Take you here, you can put a description in there if you want to. Go to continue, it's going to take you back to the file processing screen again, where you can upload plans again with the corrections. One thing you want to make sure of here, you don't want to re-upload the entire package again. Only want to re-upload the sheets that were affected by the review, the issues that were needed to be corrected. Now you can upload, you still don't have to upload those individually. You can have 5 or 6 sheets that are there. You can upload those again as one package and it will separate it out again. I just grabbed my updated files over. Is validated. Are there any other questions while we're waiting for this to process?
Keep rolling.
It does take a little bit of time because it's doing the same thing it did last time. Only this time it is checking to see if it needs to be versioned. So that's another good thing about this system. It it doesn't, Patty, it doesn't matter what you name the sheet, it's gonna look at that same thing. It's gonna look at the number at the bottom right hand corner. And that's what it's gonna version based off of. So as you can see here, it's gonna show you, yep, it looks like this one was already uploaded once. This is the previous version, so you can see that it did version it properly. I did the same with all of these. Now, if you were to have only uploaded 1 or 2, then the other ones wouldn't show up. It's only going to show up with the ones that you did version. So naming conventions don't matter at all anymore. It's not going to pull it based off of the naming convention. It's 100% going to pull it off of what it can find on the bottom right hand corner here. Click continue. Same as last time, you have a review. See that you answered both of your issues that you had listed. You uploaded your new files. Click finish. Gonna pop up here again and say, hey, your review package has been received. You're also going to receive an email that says we've received your review package. Very similar to the waiting for information one. Um, the email that you get if there are issues, it's going to send you an email with different. I'll send you an email here, And it will tell you that there are issues. You can click on the links right in here to open those up. Also video tutorials and things like that within the email with our contact information, anything that you may need there. So you can see, anybody can see the comments that were left. The architect will not be able to go in and actually respond to those comments unless they're part of the plus system. But they can go in and see the comments that are there. They just won't have the ability to respond to them. Any other questions before we move on? We will not be going over master file submissions today. All right. So after you've submitted your corrections and everything has been approved, you are going to get a second email. You're going to get a second task that says that to finish paying your permit fees. Remember, you paid the filing fee up front. At the very end of it, you will pay the permit fee. You can print that list. Absolutely, yes, you can. I apologize. I forgot to go over that. It is the same. You can print that list of your issues and comments. So once everything has been addressed, your plans have been approved, it will send you a link. It will send the task back to you to make your payment for the rest of your fees. Once you make that payment, the permit will get issued. Once it gets issued, now it's not something that you no longer have to send a log out task or a log out email asking us to log the permit out. Uh, you can it's part of the application process that will get done automatically. So not something that you will need to do. You look at the permit number here. It'll show the status of issued. You will not need to request wastewater reviews. That will be part of the process as well. So once your status is at issued, you can click the link here. Go into your record info. And if you click on attachments, that's where your approved stuff is going to be. So these are your approved documents, which would be the cover sheet. So you can open that up. That will be your approved cover sheet. Open up your I have the stamps on them, stamps the sheets for you, puts them there, and your permit card. Now, once your permit is issued, also you will no longer need to email us to request an amendment. So to download the approved plans, you click on it. Go to your attachments. Over here under actions, you can click view from here. It'll show you when it was approved, things like that. When you click on the blue link, it will pop up here. You can open it, you can save it, you can download it. Or you can also, you can go into the plan room. You can click on approved, and they're here as well for you to be able to download it. The only thing that will not show here is the permit card. You'll find that in the summary. So once the permit is issued, if you need to revise the plans, amend, make any changes, you can click make changes depending on where it's at in the review. It will allow you to do different things. You can select whatever option it is and you can continue moving forward with that option. Are there any other questions?
Hey Cody, there's a question about where do we upload trust packages? Oh, looks like Steve just responded.
Yeah, that'll be the same. I just saw that one. I apologize. You'll submit a revision through that make changes. Checking on that one now. Bear with me 1 second. Yes, the make change button does show up after the permit, after the record has been issued. The make changes button is typically always there. It just, there's gonna be different options depending on what stage the record is at of what you can do. So, you know, for an amendment or a revision, that's only gonna be available after the permit's issued. So there'll be different options listed depending on where it's at in the review cycle. If you click on the record info and processing status, this is where it'll show you where it's at. The hourglass means that it hasn't been done yet. It'll show check marks. And yes, the reviewer will show up When you get to the review stage here, you can click that drop down and you will be able to see the reviewer there. You can also see here if there were issues listed on this one, there's a print button right here, and it will print out the list of issues. That is all I have for you. If there are any more questions, feel free to ask. I will show you one last thing here as well, that we do have our Plus website with a lot of good information. A lot of good information here. And so you will be able to see the review status and the comments under that issues tab. It's same as it was before. You will not be able to respond to those until all reviews have been complete. But you can go in and look at those issues, and you can see the comments. If it had been failed by one discipline, you can see those comments prior to all of the disciplines being completed. You just won't be able to respond to them or make any corrections until all are complete. There's a lot of good information. There's all of our webinars that we have done were all recorded. Feel free to go through there and look at all of those.
Cody, there's a question. Will we be notified after each review is completed? So if zoning is done but site is not, will we receive an email?
You will not. So that was a change that we made. You will not get an email after every single discipline has reviewed. You can go in and check it, but you will not get that email after each one. You won't get an email until all reviews are complete.
And there's another question. When it's time to schedule an inspection, what does the contact person listed see, or how do they get access to my record to schedule the inspection?
I think Steve's going to tackle that one.
Okay. A question about letters of authorization.
I think he's working on that one too.
Okay. Thank you.
I thank you all for your time. If you don't have any other questions, then have a great afternoon. If you have other questions, feel free to put them in the chat.
I see there's a question about getting a copy of the questions and answers from the chat. We will see about that. We are recording this, and our intent is to get it posted online. I'm not sure if the chat is included in that, but we'll check on that and let you know how we can get you that information. So Cody, there's a question, if we are in process of an application and have a question, what's the best method for us to ask? Who can we contact? I would suggest calling. You can call us anytime. Our customer experience team can help walk you through the process. If you don't have that number, it's 703-222-0801. We also have some one-on-one appointments that are going to be available starting on Monday through the end of November. So if you want help, walking through your initial submission, you can schedule an appointment either virtually or to come in the building, and we can have someone on staff sit with you to help kind of walk you through that process. Looks like Aaron has a question about site plans submitted by the engineer and whether you can pay fees and submit the conservation escrow. Why don't we, Aaron, we can address that maybe offline. We can get you in touch with the folks in site.
Thank you all again for your time. I appreciate it. Feel free to give us a call next week if you have any other questions. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.